You possess a unique magic. I love it. I love that. Linda Carroll here from my studio, and I hope you all are doing well. It is rainy and thunderstorming here at the beach, and but I'm going to go ahead and video. If you hear some thundery noises in the background, that's what it is. So we're going to continue with the Cup Full Challenge 2022. And this week we're going to be working with an artist named Hilma af Klint. She was Swedish, and I had never heard of her before, I'm ashamed to say, but she was the very first European abstraction painter. Although there were many others who took that title, because her work was basically unknown and done in secret, and she did not publicize her work. She had no interest in becoming famous, and she was a painter of the mystical. And I was so intrigued with her work, and the fact that in her will, upon her death, she asked that her artwork not be released for another 20 years because she felt that the world was not ready for the messages that her artwork was delivering. She belonged to a group of women called the Five, and they met and did spiritual work together. They were all mediums. They felt that in this group they could speak to the higher masters, as they called them, and they were receiving messages from the spiritual realm. And she decided, well, she was led to paint these messages. She felt that the work that she was doing did not come from within her. She was merely a channel for the artwork that she was putting down on her papers and her canvases. She had thousands and thousands of pages of notes and sketches, and did a vast number of paintings as well. She believed that she was transferring information to the public on how to live and in this world to make the world a better place. And she would go into a trance state and receive messages from a spirit messenger that she called MAAEd. And she and the other women in her group of five felt that they all had the gift of prophecy. And indeed, in Hilma's family, this gift of prophecy was something that had been part of her life, because her mother felt that she was a medium too. So I have to tell you, her drawings are amazing. Some of them remind me of alchemical symbols. Some of them remind me of sacred geometry. So she had a lot of things that were influencing her work. I developed 2 collage sheets that are going to be available on my website in the resource library and it's available to everyone who joins the website. It is free, and once you join, you become a collage magician, and you have access to the resource library. Right now, there are a number of collage sheets in there that you can download for free. And every week I try to add additional things to the website. So I hope you will join www.collagemagic.com, become a collage magician, and you'll be notified when I start doing workshops and any additional things that are exciting on the site. Make sure you accept the emails, because a lot of times will announce something early and it'll come to the members before anybody else knows about it. So if there's a workshop that has limited numbers, you'll get first choice. So I'm going to change that camera around and start working on this collage. I hope you enjoy it. I feel like this challenge has opened up or opened my thinking up and my realization that most of my collages that I work on, I'm exploring the feminine. I'm exploring the feminine in everything, and I'm exploring the feminine in myself. And it's really exciting. But I looked back through some of my older videos, and definitely in my journals, my art journals, and my journaling, my library. And and I know that some of my viewers have already talked about the fact that, I am focusing on exploring the feminine and what that means. I work and have done collages about feminine archetypes and life in general, and how the feminine is a part of everything and everyone. So I think this is an exciting, magical journey that we're on, and let's get to it. I'm going to change the camera, and I'll be there in just a minute. Okay, this is the list and the cupful challenge, and as you see, I'm really behind. But this week's artist is Hilma af Klint, and this is not right. This should be an N. It's Hilma af Klint. Okay. And as I said earlier, she was Swedish, and she was the first abstract painter in Western art history. So although she's been left out of art history for the largest part, she's a very important figure indeed in our world of abstract art and surreal art. You remember last week I did Frida and Frida Kahlo, and I incorporated the cup down here. This week we are working with Hilma af Klint, and this is actually a painting of her having a cup of tea. And I was so excited when I found this, and then I also found a photograph of her. And at a point in her life, she was inspired by theosophy, as a number of women were during this time. And Madame Blavatsky was the woman behind this movement. And here is a picture of Madame Blavatsky that I was thinking I would make into a postage stamp. And these are her eyes. Okay. These pieces are all from paintings that Hilma did. She created a visual language that was very, very interesting, and she had saw that colors to her represented different ideas. Yellow represented the masculine, and also roses represented the masculine. Blue, which she included in almost in all of her paintings, represented the feminine, and also lilacs, the flower, represented the feminine. Pink, and you can see that here, pink represented spiritual love, and red represented physical love. And you can see how she's worked with these colors throughout her studies and throughout her paintings. She's just a magical woman. She really, really was. She started working with automatic drawings, and that started as early as 1896, and also automatic writing. And many of the Surrealist paintings used automatic drawing as a way of expressing their subconscious. And I've talked to you about the automatic drawings that I've done, and the way I do it, I do a meditation first, and then with my eyes closed, I pick up my pencil and I move my hand randomly over the paper. And then when I feel that I'm finished, I stop and I look at what is on the paper. Now, I had no conscious input or control over what I was doing, but I look for images that are in the lines and the mark making that I did. And then I developed these into more refined drawings with representational forms that may not appear to be real, but they're recognizable. So although I start the drawing as a subconscious drawing, or drawing from my subconscious, I finish it consciously. So they did that too. They started doing automatic drawing, automatic writing, and then her work evolved into painting and sketching and keeping extensive journals. So I've included a background that I worked with, and what this is, it's layers of images. The layer in the background is from an alchemical painting, and it looks like this man is using a tool to measure distance to the stars or something. And so I made that the background, mostly because it includes the color blue that she used in her paintings, and the green, and here's the red in this area, and there's a little bit of pink in the face and the hands. Then on top of that, I layered a part of her painting, and I did change one color. This was all white, which didn't balance my particular collage, so I made this red. And remember, the blue this blue is the feminine, the yellow is the masculine, and the pink is spiritual love, and the red is physical love. And then the green in the background here represents the union of the masculine and feminine. So then I layered on top of that, I screened back this spiral image, and she used a lot of spirals in her work, and I thought this one was perfect, although it actually is part of I think a tuba. But here is the spiral, and you can see it overlaying the part of her painting. Now, this is actually a cutout it's a cutout of this image and her shoulders and so on and so forth. But since I'm going to put her head, this head, on this body, I did both of those things. I cut out a body and I cut out her head and put up here, and then I cut it out or knocked it out of this background. And then I included this cup. Some people call it a cauldron. It is a cup. Some people would say this very much is representative of her beliefs, and I put her in, coming out of the cauldron, and then her body is up here. So this is the background that I provided for you. You didn't have to do that. I manipulated all that on the computer. And then these are the images that I used and collaged on this background. So I'm going to go ahead and fussy cut these, and then I'll be right back and we can do the collage. I'll see you in a few seconds, actually. Okay, I have all of my images cut out. I kept her head, which I'm sure I'll use in another collage at some point in time. And I did, when I was doing my cutting, place her body in the large cup down here at the bottom of the page. So this is where I'm going to glue her body, and then her head is going to, I'm going to have to scoot it over a little bit. Her head will go here. Here she is. And then I'm going to put Madame Blavatsky's eyes over her eyes, because Madame Blavatsky was a medium as well, and she became very, very famous as the head of the Theosophy Society in England and elsewhere. She's the one who started that society. I thought it would be kind of interesting to put Madame Blavatsky's eyes over Hilma's eyes in this collage. There was a German artist who was a contemporary of Hilma, and her name is Hannah Hoch, and she was well known for the way that she would superimpose other eyes on her collages, on the figures in her collages. Hannah was born in 1889 and passed away in 1978, and Hilma was born in 1862 and passed away in 1944. So they were contemporaries for a bit. And Madame Blavatsky here, was born in the Ukraine in 1831, and she passed away in London, England in 1891. Green in the background here represents the union of the masculine and feminine. So then I layered on top of that, I screened back this spiral image, and she used a lot of spirals in her work, and I thought this one was perfect, although it actually is part of I think a tuba. But here is the spiral, and you can see it overlaying the part of her painting. Now, this is actually a cutout of this image. Well, actually, it's a cutout of this image and her shoulders and so on and so forth. But since I'm going to put her head, this head, on this body, I did both of those things. I cut out a body and I cut out her head and put up here, and then I cut it out or knocked it out of this background. And then I included this cup. Some people call it a cauldron. It is a cup. Some people would say this very much is representative of her beliefs, and I put her in coming out of the cauldron, and then her body is up here. So this is the background that I provided for you. You didn't have to do that. I manipulated all that on the computer. And then these are the images that I used and collaged on this background. So I'm going to go ahead and fussy cut these, and then I'll be right back and we can do the collage. I'll see you in a few seconds, actually. Okay, I have all of my images cut out. I kept her head, which I'm sure I will use in another collage at some point in time. And I did, when I was doing my cutting, place her body in the large cup down here at the bottom of the page. So this is where I'm going to glue her body, and then her head is going to, I'm going to have to scoot it over a little bit. Her head will go here. Okay. Here she is. And then I'm going to put Madame Blavatsky's eyes over her eyes, because Madame Blavatsky was a medium as well, and she became very, very famous as the head of the Theosophy Society in England and elsewhere. She's the one who started that society. And so I thought it would be kind of interesting to put Madame Blavatsky's eyes over Hilma's eyes in this collage. There was a German artist who was a contemporary of Hilma, and her name is Hannah Hoch, and she was well known for the way that she would superimpose other eyes on her collages, on the figures in her collages. Hannah was born in 1889 and passed away in 1978, and Hilma was born in 1862 and passed away in 1944. So they were contemporaries for a bit, and Madame Blavatsky here was born in the Ukraine in 1831, and she passed away in London, England in 1891. So anyway, I thought you might like to see an example of Hannah's work. I know a lot of my work is influenced by Hannah Hoch. Okay, let's get back to our collage. So we have the body layered on top of the background. We have her head in place, and we have the eyes in place. And what else are we going to do? I think I'm going to go ahead and do my edges. Now, I like to use the tea dye distress ink around the edges. So if there's any white showing, it will be covered by the tea dye. And also, when I go to scan these images, the white won't reflect the light around the edges. So, and I like the way it looks like this teacup's just resting on the ledge of my big cup or cauldron at the bottom of the page. Okay, again, I'm just going to use my Uhu glue stick and cover the back of my image. And we'll put this in place. Burnish it down a little bit. And let's do her head. Now, you don't have to stress ink. You can use a black pen to do this, or a gray pen. It'll work just fine. And let's do the madam's eyes here. This is really a simple collage that I'm doing. Most of the work involved was getting the this just right here, getting the background done, which I already did for you, or you can use any background you want, really. in her eyes here. Okay. Now, what else do I want to do? I have all these little circles over here, and I was seeing, oops, I was seeing these circles placed around the background, kind of like the, you know, these images were coming to her through the ethers, and she was simply receiving them, and then she would record them in her journals as well as on her canvas. So let's start. I cut this large one in half, and I thought that using 1/2 on one side, 1/2 on the other is continuing the balance in this piece. This piece is fairly symmetrical, and so I'm just going to place these where I think they work the best. Now, see, I didn't want to place it like this because the black then would run into her top. So this would work, and this would work, but then the white kind of blends too much into the background. So I think I'm going to go with this here. Madame Blavatsky's kind of floating around in the background. And this one, I think I want to hover it around here somewhere. And I have another large one. I'm going to put here on the front of this cup. And this one is beautiful. So all these things are kind of coming into her. And when you're placing these, you know, what I look at is, you know, the fact that this little pinpoint here is landing on this circle, okay? And when I look at this, I want these lines to line up with her shirt. So although it looks like I'm placing them randomly, there is conscious thought in where these are going. And what do you think? I think she needs something on her shirt. And again, I have my center point here, and I'm following that through the images. And I have another one of these, so I want to balance this one. And is that it? I think so. Okay, let's go ahead and glue these down. Now I didn't go around the outside edges of these with the tea dye. I'm sure that if you would go through her writings, which they're being studied now, all of the pages, thousands and thousands of pages that she wrote have not yet been explored, but I'm sure there are explanations about what these symbols mean or meant to her, and what she was communicating to us through these symbols. Like I said, they reminded me of alchemical drawings. Okay, now this one I am going to go around the edges. I'll bring her up into a little bit more of a contemporary look with a image on the front of her shirt. Okay, go ahead and trim these. And I have a couple pieces left. Now, what do I want to do with Madame Blavatsky? I feel like she really needs to be in this image. Like I said, I thought about making her into a postage stamp, but I don't like that image anymore. She could be coming out of the teacup. But you know what? I think I want her tucked in behind Anna's hand, Hilma's hand. I think I like that. A little bit of a what do you think? A little much? I think we're good. Slide Madame Blavatsky down into the cup, and then glue her hand back in place. Okay, and you can stop right there. You know, it's very simple. If you look at this one, you know, this collage by Hannah Hoch, and not that I'm comparing my work to hers, because you can't. I mean, I wouldn't presume to do that. But this is very simple, you know. This is probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pieces in this particular collage. And she didn't go back in and work in the background or anything. She left the layering to speak for itself and giving it depth. And so I really don't know that I want to add anything more to this. I do think I need to, where my eyes didn't quite cover up this black right here. There we go. Okay. Okay, I call this a cup, here's the way I was seeing it, a cup of Klint. Cup of Klint. But now I'm thinking it might be a cup of Blavatsky. So it is a cuppa. So there we go. I don't think I'm going to add anything else to this. I really like it the way it is. And that was a lot of fun. Definitely not as complex and detailed as the Frida Kahlo cup, but then these are to represent kind of like their styles, and they're both in my style, but this one, Frida's work was very detailed, very complex, and Hilma's work was much simpler, much more geometrical, and I think this is very representative of that indeed. So here we are, number 2 of the challenge. I don't know that I'm going to do all of the artists on the challenge, but these 2 really intrigued me. And as I said, doing my research on Hilma of Klint, I went kind of down a rabbit hole into women who worked in the turn of the century all the way up through mid-century, whose work was based in the mystical, in the magic, in the esoteric. And I thought, how wonderful. I found this entire new group of women to relate to and to converse with. So I'm going to bring more of them to you. I know researching these women has been a lot of fun, and I'll put a link below to another video that I found about Hilma of Klint. It's very short, but it was made by an art history channel. So, and I enjoyed watching it. So I'll put that down below if you want to find out a little bit more about Hilma of Klint. I wanted to tell you a little synchronicity that I had as I was working on the pieces for the collage and the collage sheet. And I took a break to have lunch, and I had ordered this book a couple months ago, mainly because I loved the cover, and I looked at a few pages of the inside on Amazon, and I just had to buy this book. It's just beautifully bound, and on the back it's Reclaim Your Wild. So, since you know I love the book Running with Wolves and so on. But anyway, I opened this book up at lunch. I was using a Hershey's wrapper as my bookmark. But I went, I love that. Look at this collage on here. It's just so beautiful. And then I started looking through the pages, and I turned the page, and here is one of Hilma of Klint's paintings. And that was just one little synchronicity that told me you are right where you belong, doing what you are here to do. And there are a couple more throughout the book, but this book is just, I love it. It's just so fun. And let's see, I'm looking for another one of her. Here's another one of her paintings with the swans, the light and the dark. But there are a few of them in this book, along with a lot of other great images. But I just wanted to let you in on that little synchronicity. I'm always excited when those happen. Look, and you, I already have spelled out, you possess there we go. You possess a unique magic, and you do. Everybody does. And if you don't know what it is yet, we are here to discover what it is. So that's it. I'm excited. I love that. Anyway, I hope you did too. I hope you enjoyed this collage today. And remember, you do possess a unique magic, as do I and everyone and everything around us. So many blessings to you. Have a great day or evening, whichever the case may be. And I'll see you again really soon. Bye for now.